against an Alarak, when you think you have the range, you will be pulled. So that's also the reason why. It was Tutu, right? Tutu playing Hanzo?
Yes.
That's also a reason why we didn't really see top numbers from that Hanzo. He completed the quest really early. But that was about it. And game 3, Gen.G. No other curveballs though.
Yeah,
Shire.
He finished the quest super early because they were playing Alex Drosta and they were just sitting on top of that point. And he just threw arrows in repeatedly, but they weren't able to scratch the surface. Now, Shire and Feliz will have first ban. This is their last chance. They come up with a draft to defeat Gen.G. It's a standard map. There's no curveball here.
Let's see what else, because a lot of the lower team has been picking up a double global on this map, especially Dehaka, first of all, and then some false stats. If not false stats, some other types of global where they choose to pick Illidan or some other ones with the global, like ETT stage dive, sometimes very rarely, but has been done on this map.
Yeah. Controlling the soul lane is going to be it's going to have a big impact, so that matchup is something to look forward to as well. As Hanaten has, I think, improved a lot as a soul laner over the course of this year. See if they just go ahead and ban the Thrall here. Definitely something. This is Thrall's best map in the pool. And yep, that'll be what comes out.
Okay. Unless they were super ready to take the role, because Gen.G would just first pick Dehaka, very like not Dehaka, Deckard very likely.
Yeah. And the Hanzo. I would love to see first pick Deckard here out of Feliz. It would be a move away from their comfort zone. Looking at the picks of Liu, he has played 3 games of Deckard compared to Sake. Let me check that really quick as we wait for this to tick down. Sake has played surprisingly only 2 here in Korea. Obviously we had Eastern Clash, so there's been a lot more games of him, but I'm surprised to see only 2. It's because he's loving Karzim so much, but this will be his 4th now.
And super early Li Ming.
Li Ming is so popular right now.
They can't... Personally, I don't like it, because Li Ming can't be nerfed anymore. Like, I want the Calamity on the minions back. That was my wave clear.
You're never going to get it. You're never
That was my wave clear, please. That's why Li Ming is on level 50, okay?
You're never going to get your S of Johan back either, I'm sorry. We'll take the Dehaka.
Yes. Like it, and we were talking about Hanaten's Dehaka play. Not as aggressive, but in terms of dodging all the skills and staying alive, he's really good at it. So, gotta get that control. Dominate, he can't really dominate the top, but not miss any XP, join in for the team fight. That's what they're looking for. And Gen.G, they would... Really? I was 100%, like near 100% sure. Okay, they will try to match up with the Junkrat having the semi-global against the Dehaka. Maybe they're thinking about something like a Falstad of their own?
I think they are going to either take Falstad, it's a good mention by you, or just Phoenix here. Strong wave clear, good control of the 4-man, and someone like Reset, or probably be Rich in this case, can play a really good Phoenix around the garage. There it is. And you don't need to counter the global if you crush the 4-man so hard that the top lane is irrelevant. And that's what we've been seeing over and over and over again in this series. And I think that the final pick is just very easily the Blaze closeout. You do fine against Dehaka. It's a decent matchup in the soul lane. You rotate mid a lot. And Feliz just cracks under the pressure against so much wave clear, so much pushing power.
I totally follow you there, because they already have the Akka, so they can't really steal that away. That's way too much. White main. To keep them alive against Li Ming is a good choice, certainly. They also have Garrosh. I like the ban pick from both. It's really just standard. Because with Feliz having the double global, how well can they actually use that against the super fast tempo that Gen.G is going to have with the camp timing as well? That's going to be the real question.
Falstad has a lot of real strong power, honestly, against Blaze, because he counters the bunker in a lot of ways, assuming that he gets the gust off in a moment where the bunker is placed and then everyone else gets pushed away before they get into the bunker. If you execute it well, be very powerful. But I think that there's just simply no way. There is no way that the 4-man goes well for this team, even though they have the garage. I foresee that we will see we will see by level 4, like Gen.G will be a level ahead. That is my prediction.
Because it takes a long time for them to actually put out have the damage onto the target that they want to kill. And Gen.G has a lot of countering ways. Li-Ming has the burst, and Phoenix can have the sustain. In terms of more balanced one, I would say I would totally mind raise my hands up for Gen.G. So Feliz, instead of looking for those ganks and super kills, they need that global. They need to use that.
Yeah, it's tough to though, you know. And let's see how this early game, you know, pans out. Here's the pressure already in the 4-man. Like, how can you compete against this?
And
like, how can anyone compete against this level?
And it's Rainer.
Yeah.
So no real escape.
This is why Deckard Cain is so powerful. Not only does he have great healing, but he basically puts a triangle on the ground and says, if you who stand in this triangle will be on respawn timer. There even are rotating Rich to the top lane right now. Li-Ming is just tossing orbs out to the bot lane, now mid lane. Look at this. Already clear the wave, doing damage to structures. If you get a kill like this, the situation I was describing is like even worse for Feliz. It's already bad enough as it is. The globals are the only power they have. And I think they're going to have real power after 10.
Yes.
But if Gen.G hits 10 while they're on level 8.
Oh, before that, when the shrine happens, when there's a rotation from Gen.G to the top, or when they're coming down, false that flies to the bottom, look for the gank. I think that's their best option to actually get kills from the bot lane, where Li-Ming is at right now. And Li-Ming's kind of squishy compared to the other heroes. I think that's their best window to just find reset out of position.
Their best bet. Hanaten is going to survive here, but he's going to take a lot of damage. This wall is going down. So we're going to trade walls. Remember that the bottom wall is actually more valuable than the top wall. So assuming that Feliz does in fact get that down, which I think they will, then this is actually kind of a trade up for them.
I think it's the opposite in this case. The top one where Dehaka should be soaking. If he wants to soak, he has to be out even further away from the fort. If they get the entire fort, he will just be near the keep wall, which means he can't even get out. Too long, he'll be away from the shrine. Gen.G will take a lot more advantage because of that.
The thing is that what Feliz can do is just swap the lanes, and he'll be in bot lane instead. But the Dragon Knight, you know, when we get to that point, getting the you know, top keep is going to be so difficult that there's not a lot of value out of the damage that's being done. They got the fort and they stay a level ahead because they managed to soak while doing so, because they left only Li-Ming to defend in the bot lane. So, you know, I said we were going to be, like, they were going to be 5 when Feliz was 4. But basically, we're now at 6-5. Dehaka getting that final soak from that top lane where he had to hide.
Global focused up on top, no one at the bottom, so but they will steal this away for just the time. They're really concerned about the rotation. They don't really know exactly when or how Gen.G is going to form, so always they're reacting to the rotation of Gen.G when they should be the one making the early rotation, so it creates a reaction from Gen.G instead.
Sure.
And that's how you use the global.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do, and you know, they do put everyone down the bot lane like I was talking about. So you know, they are trying to complete this trade of the forts, and then we'll leave Dehaka to soak. So they'll switch the solo lanes. But meanwhile, Blaze is just getting free soak top, and everyone on Gen.G is just dealing with this rotation so well that this heavy commitment to global rotation is failing. And we've seen this actually by. There are 3 teams in Korea that use this more than any other teams. Hold that thought. Tist does get tossed, but it'll be fine. It's Feliz, Gluck, and Supernova, the 3 teams at the bottom of the rankings. They try to use this, which again works insanely well in Hero League, but it doesn't work well against teams that just simply avoid death, avoid, you know, getting value. They trade with their rotations that are basically out-rotating a team that's global by making the first move.
We did the rotation from Blaze and Shire, 1v1-4 now.
Oh my god, that was so close. Actually, this still could be a kill. Rich is going to have to get
Does
out.
have warp, though.
Just before the tongue grab.
Perfect position, right next to his teammates. So with that strong control, they
Look
will
at this. They want this fight. They're going to commit.
See, no forts.
Reset.
They have a long way to go.
They avoid the orb at least for the most part. But that's going to be a kill. OJ is going to go down. That's going to be one more reset here. So another orb. Minions blocking it.
Lee was healing, but no more mana, so no more heals can come through.
Goja's taking this. And already smartly, Hanatan's coming down here, but I think just barely they get it.
Yeah, they will get it. Because he was not even here when they started the channel in the mid.
Channeling's just slightly faster than a capture time on a shrine.
Yes.
From red to blue or vice versa. If they get this fort, they should be able to secure 10 right afterwards.
Yep, they forced the rotation. Gen.G forced the rotation to be on top, and Feliz just followed that instead of... They have the global, they can actually escape. They don't really have to put all the pressure. They can use it as a distraction and actually make the rotation down. So as long as it doesn't give the Dragon Knight to Gen.G, they can buy time to soak up some experience and not lose too much members. But it feels like they're just trying to chase the ball that's in front of them.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very fancy, but there are other balls on the map.
Sure, and Feliz tried to swap those lanes, but with no fort to protect them, Gen.G just took the fight straight to them. With a full 5-man rotation, killed Feliz in that fight. Almost got a full team wipe. Feliz barely escaped, but that's the rotation that wins them the Dragon Knight. That's the Dragon Knight that gets them 10. And Feliz comp really comes online after 10, where Raynor gets his big power spike with Banshee damage when Falsehead gets Gust, which is what this draft is all about.
It's really scary what Gen.G can actually do. Force you the rotation to be in a position where you will always have the lead by having no structure that you think you're safe because you're on kind of on your side. Feliz is not understanding the next move. That has been painful. That has been hurting them so far. But little damage, one step at a time with Feliz. They did some damage onto the top wall. They're not really getting to the fort, but they just have to look for 10 now.
And Gen.G is pushing this super hard. They have spell armor now. Spell damage reduction, I should say, is the more technical term, I guess. But Feliz has 10. There is a window to where maybe we see Dehaka come through. That's why Tist was hiding in the bush there to make sure that wasn't happening. He is hiding. You could see the top lane Hanaten to make it, you know, threaten that he could be brush stalking at any moment. But Gen.G's just not going to fall for it. He heads down now to soak mid.
Okay, the wall's gone. With that canvas, we push all the way to the keep wall. As long as Feliz has a good read onto the next move, Dehaka, after clearing the mid, he can help the bottom fight and then just brush Tucker up later and have the pressure because they do have 10. They can maintain the control by doing that.
Okay. Gen.G need to be careful. There's a fort here. Rich has warp. OJ has already caught him though. I think he's just dead. Yeah.
Nice pick.
That was a nice pick. They need to like this actually they're gonna get wiped here, G-Clef. They actually stayed way too long. They ate so many turret shots, they are all gonna die.
Gus, need to focus one down the bunker. Burn that away. Try to get the one on the isolation.
Oh, Sake gets caught here. I may have spoke too soon. Let's see. Liu caught alone. Resets for reset. And it looks like maybe, in fact, they will all die. Every single one of them. Dudu, I don't think gets out of here. I don't know what his gust or his flight cooldown is, but
he doesn't even have mana.
Yeah.
So
he's dead. Every single one of them die.
Oh, Garrosh came back just in time.
Well, that's going to be another Dragon Knight.
It's painful. For one, they dove into the fort. I think if they actually used the time to destroy the fort, they could have just destroyed the fort and escaped to the bottom lane.
Well, remember when we talked about the trade of the forts? They never actually killed the fort. They did the exact same thing. Literally right now, they did the exact same thing Gen.G did top, but there was no fort top. So Gen.G could push it in, force everybody back and get the kill. This time, They did it without a minion wave, and they stayed there for a moment, almost as if they were hoping they were going to get a pick on somebody, like Sako came in, and then they just all got caught and died. They were all slowed, and it's Deckard Cain we're talking about here. This is not like Rhaegar came down. This is like, uh-oh, you're rooted, you're slowed, there is no way out. And Gen.G just punishes that one misstep, that one moment, and that's going to be a keep.
Just delaying, because they want the 13. Maybe open up if they have a chance. Garrosh is here. Dominable. Gets the charge out. Oh, keep goes down. Look at the position of Rich. He's not scared.
Yep. And that's, you know, Blaze with the bunker.
And that's Garrosh gone.
Uh-oh.
A little early up a pro road there.
Well, I think he dies either way, you know. He bunkered, or sorry, he burrowed because if he didn't, he was going to die, but then they just prepared for that and killed him afterwards anyways. Rave of Force comes in here. Leo just barely.
Just at the end of scroll.
Reset's getting kills between a keep and a core attacking him. But that's going to be game. They just got too many, they just got too overextended there. And that's all it takes, Matt, at this level of play. That's GG. Gen.G will take the 3-0 win here. Playing straight up comps.
For the... Not going to happen this time, as they get 16 with the kills, not from the minion waves, with the kills onto heroes. That's 3-0.
3-0. And Gen.G stays at the top of the standings. No one could stop them right now, and tonight Feliz brought us some unique drafts that I think were really well prepared. And they did try to play something very standard at the end on Shire. When the lane swap came through from Gen.G and they killed the top fort, for some reason Feliz wasn't able to commit to killing the bottom fort. They committed to ganking Rich, but it ended up being staying too long, not killing the fort. They died there.
Yes, I think that was a big chance because they still had Gust at that moment. Get down the fort, escape together, use the Gust to disengage. Even with the tornado, maybe not getting an entire team wipe, maybe losing 1 or 2 more members. I think it was the better choice, but at that moment, maybe their shot calls. It seems like these small things, as we saw yesterday as well, that just creates this big gap between the top team and the bottom team. They should be able to pick this up a little bit sooner if they can able to actually do that. I think we'll see them rising up because their drafting, Feliz, has been excellent. We saw some drafting that has been never done before. They banned Muradin, and we were wondering why exactly, and something else came up. And certainly they have been practicing something else that no other Korean teams are actually trying. They made it work in the draft. Execution against Gen.G, of course, it's very hard, but we could see the light inside. Yeah,
I mean, there's certainly, I think, a lot of promise in the Fleas we're seeing this week that we haven't seen for the rest of 2018. And that's a good sign for them heading into Crucible. It's a good sign for maybe 2019 season, assuming they can defend that spot. So there is maybe light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe not as bright as... The light at the end of Gen.G's tunnel is another BlizzCon trophy. The light at the end of Feliz's tunnel is maybe avoiding relegation in 2019. Like that's, you know, that's what we're looking at. 2019 Phase 1 is where their mind is set, their future is set. And that's because we're looking at the bottom and the top, and not everyone has goals that look the same. Maybe, though, maybe Feliz wins Crucible, stays in 2019, has a good playoff run in Phase 1, and then in Phase 2 of 2019, they're trying to make their BlizzCon run. You know, maybe that's a world we can live in, but we're not there yet. We're still a few steps behind. Very far behind for Feliz, I would say. For Gen.G, of course, they want to drop no games, and a little surprising that what we saw from Gen.G. Battlefield, Bala, which is not too common at all in any region right now, even in China. So that was a little weird. And they picked Volskaya, which was a dominant victory with just capturing all the items, having some tricky positioning from Tist. Even Game 3. You try to ban the DPS, and you try to ban him out by banning the hammer, which removes a lot of siege, but when there are lots of top tier DPS, when there's Phoenix available, that was still a way to go for them. Yeah. I mean, they controlled the wave clear, the pushing, the rotations. all the walls were down so early because of Li Ming and Phoenix. And that was my concern from the beginning about the draft that we had on the other side is can they deal with the 4-man pressure? Even though they have Dahaka, even though they have Falstad, they lost a lot of wave clear by picking Falstad. Because until he has 7, he has very weak wave clear compared to a Phoenix, compared to Li Ming. Li Ming's wave clear is not like insanely good, but when you clear a wave and in that moment, the other team's kind of like sitting there and you're just throwing orbs at walls, it's like...
I think it's because when the reason why they're picking up the global is because by the game tempo, the shot calling is not up to speed. So you try to make that gap closer by having the global, by using the global, right? That's another way, and the reason why all the lower teams has been picking it up because you don't want to fall behind as much. You can't really control the global. You wouldn't really be expecting it, but at least try to match the experience and try to have the next fight work for your side. We see it like failing a lot of the times.
Yeah, I think the double global is just simply outdated at this point.
I think it's just focusing on like, straight team fights, with bringing some more CC, maybe the burst, having one straight theme.
I think it's subtle rotations and subtle small victories that add up throughout the game more than big double gank rotations. And I mean, we're talking about a team that's just defeated by the team that used Falstad more than any other team for the majority of 2017. A lot of experience with Falstad 2016. But we don't live in that era anymore. And it's cool to see the attempt, but it's only the bottom 3 teams in Korea that are really doing it anymore. This is a cool fight here by Feliz, you know. Nearly able to do enough damage there, but Healing Pulse comes down. Rich is just standing in it right now. And as we head into this one, I'm guessing we're going to see that. Okay, so look at this. Look at the fort. It's at this point, they come in. They walk in after they're being slowed by the fort. And it's very welcomed by Gen.G. They don't have Scarlet Aegis, but there's a bunker here.
Yes, and they choose to fight.
Yeah, they completely commit to the fight. That's the best way of putting it. And even though they kill Sake, there's no way out here. Like, the minions are almost able to kill the fort.
If one more member from Feliz was on that fort will be destroyed. And within that time, Amber didn't really do too much damage. Of course, he did end up getting the kill on the Sake, but I think they need to really have a wider angle.